Did you know that Michael Ironside was a competitive arm wrestling champion as a teenager? He wasn't just tough on screen, he proved it in real life, dominating opponents in his youth before he ever picked up a script. Before becoming one of genre film's most iconic villains, he aspired to be a writer, penning a play at the age of 15 that won a nationwide contest and helped launch his creative career. So what happened to Michael Ironside? Let's fade to black. Michael Ironside's story starts far from the Hollywood backlots he would one day dominate. He grew up in a working-class family of English, Irish, Scottish, and Welsh descent. His mother, Patricia, was a homemaker, while his father, Robert, worked as a street lighting technician. Michael was one of 5 siblings in a tight-knit but no-nonsense household, where toughness and resilience were part of daily life. Even as a boy, he had a presence, a mix of physical strength and sharp wit that made him stand out. At the same time, Ironside was drawn to the arts. He attended Riverdale Collegiate Institute, where his imagination quickly found an outlet in writing. At just 15 years old, he wrote a play called The Shelter, a tense, politically charged piece about nuclear war, which won a nationwide playwright competition. The award included prize money and a professional production, an achievement that would set the tone for the rest of his creative life. By the end of the 1970s, Michael Ironside had begun stacking up small roles in Canadian film and TV. His earliest credits included appearances in projects like The Ottawa Valley in 1974, but it was clear from the start that his real breakthrough was only a matter of time. That breakthrough came in 1981, and it was explosive. David Cronenberg's Scanners wasn't just another Canadian sci-fi. It was a slow burn, cerebral horror about a group of people with deadly telepathic powers, and it featured one of the most unforgettable practical effects shots in cinema history, the infamous exploding head. In the role of Daryl Revok, Ironside played a rogue scanner whose psychic powers made him a terrifying force of nature. This wasn't a scenery-chewing villain, it was a chilling, tightly controlled performance that oozed menace. The success of Scanners catapulted Ironside into a new tier of roles. In the years that followed, he became one of the most reliable go-to actors for antagonists and anti-heroes with a dangerous edge. In 1982, he turned up in the slasher thriller Visiting Hours, playing Colt Hawker, a misogynistic serial killer who targets a feminist journalist played by Lee Grant. It was an unflinching, unsettling role, and Ironside committed to it fully, creating a villain that was far more grounded and therefore more disturbing than many slasher movie killers of the era. The following year saw him in Space Hunter: Adventures in the Forbidden Zone, a cult sci-fi adventure where he played the grotesquely deformed warlord Overdog. The role allowed him to lean into heavy prosthetics and a heightened, almost comic book level of villainy, showing that he could swing between grounded menace and operatic evil with ease. If you enjoy these actor retrospectives and want to see more, please consider subscribing. A lot of you watch these videos without hitting that button, and I'm really pushing to hit 10,000 subscribers. It only takes a second, and it really helps me bring you more stories about the actors we love. But not all of Ironside's iconic roles relied on explosions or psychic duels. In 1986, he stepped into the cockpit for a very different kind of role, one that would reach an even broader audience. As Lieutenant Commander Rick Jester Heatherly in Top Gun, Ironside played one of the instructors at the Navy's elite fighter weapons school.
His fitness report says it all. He's a wild card. Flies by the seat of his pants. Completely unpredictable.
Alongside Tom Skerritt's Viper, he brought a sense of real-world military gravitas to the film's glossy, MTV-fueled aerial spectacle. While Cruise and Kilmer chewed scenery and flexed muscles, Ironside grounded the movie in something more believable. Authority. Experience. The kind of guy who's already seen things go sideways at Mach 2. It was a more restrained performance than his usual intensity, but no less powerful. Jester doesn't yell, he doesn't threaten, he doesn't need to. When he delivers that line, that was some of the best flying I've seen to date, right up to the part where you got killed. It lands with a cool precision, and that's Ironside through and through. And for a generation of 80s kids, Top Gun marked the first time they saw his face on a big screen, not as a villain, but as a mentor. A rare role where he wasn't blowing someone's head up, but building someone's confidence instead. The 1990s solidified Ironside as one of the great icons of genre cinema. He kicked off the decade with Richter in Paul Verhoeven's Total Recall, a brutal, cunning antagonist whose vendetta against Arnold Schwarzenegger's character gave the film much of its tension. In 1997, he reunited with Verhoeven for Starship Troopers, playing Lieutenant Gene Razak, the grizzled leader of the Roughnecks. Here, Ironside brought a magnetic authority, creating one of the rare roles where audiences could cheer him without reservation. Off-camera, Ironside became a major voice acting force. He originated Sam Fisher in Ubisoft's Splinter Cell series between 2002 and 2013, returning in later DLCs, a portrayal so definitive that fans protested when the role was recast. He also voiced Darkseid in Superman the Animated Series and Justice League, delivering one of the most chilling interpretations of the character ever put to screen. Whether in blockbusters, indie thrillers, cartoons, or video games, Ironside brought the same intensity to every project. No shortcuts, no half measures. In the 2000s, he became the kind of actor whose name alone could elevate a project. The Machinist in 2004, Smallville as General Sam Lane, and Terminator Salvation in 2009 added more variety to his resume. His comedic turn in Community showed he could subvert his tough guy image for laughs. In 2015, Ironside revealed he'd battled and beaten both prostate and thyroid cancer, returning to work with the same relentless drive.
The things that matter now are completely different than the things that mattered before.
His later roles, from Stephen King adaptations to sci-fi indies, proved he could still steal a scene in his 70s. With over 270 credits, Michael Ironside has never needed to be a leading man to leave a lasting mark. His voice, his stare, and his absolute commitment have made him one of the most respected and enduring figures in genre entertainment. From teenage arm wrestling champion to one of the most recognizable faces and voices in sci-fi, action, and gaming, Michael Ironside's career is a testament to consistency, craft, and authenticity. He's the kind of actor who wins audiences and keeps them for life, a far rarer achievement than any award. Away from the cameras, Michael Ironside leads a life that's quietly steady, the kind that rarely makes headlines, but says a lot about the man himself. He's been married to his wife Karen since 1986, the same year he played Jester in Top Gun. It's a long-lasting partnership that's spanned decades in an industry known for burning through relationships. Together they have a daughter, and for much of his career, Ironside has chosen to keep his family life firmly out of the spotlight. He's not based in Hollywood these days. Instead, he spends most of his time in British Columbia, Canada, far from the red carpets and press junkets, and closer to a life built on routine, privacy, and work that still challenges him. And he's still working. Whether it's gritty character roles in indie films, intense voiceovers for video games, or small but memorable parts in sci-fi TV, Ironside never really stopped, he just shifted lanes. You'll hear his voice in everything from Splinter Cell to Superman the Animated Series, and it still carries that same weight, that same unmistakable grit. Ironside is often spoken about valuing time at home, enjoying simple routines, and focusing on work that interests him rather than chasing roles just for the sake of it. If you enjoyed this look back at Michael Ironside's incredible career, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel grow. I release new videos twice a week, every Tuesday and Saturday, so make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.